On today's installment of Weekend Wankshop, I'm going to be showing you guys one of my favorite super melodic solos from the 80s. Let's scope out Love Song by Tesla. Hey kids, and welcome to this week's installment of Weekend Wankshop. Here's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. On today's installment, we're going to be taking a look at how to play the guitar solo from Love Song by Tesla, which I've always thought was one of the coolest guitar solos from the 80s, which were, an era characterized by trying to cram as many notes into every solo as possible. This one's not really especially shreddy or anything, but it does a really great job of making super melodic hooks and targeting notes in the chord progression that's going on behind it. I definitely advise that if you're learning this solo, learn the chord progressions that go on behind it too, so you can see how these leads and stuff he's putting down are interacting with the chords. But before we start getting into it, let's hear it again at stepdad speed. And as always, for a full tab, you guys can visit my Instagram page over at Ben Eller Guitars. Be sure to give me a follow over there. Find the tab for this week's lesson, learn how to play it, then upload a video of yourself shredding through it, along with the hashtag Weekend Wankshop. Okay, so this solo is in the key of E minor with a couple of surprises along the way, like that A major chord that comes up there. Again, learn the chord progressions and watch how his licks really target the notes of the chords. It's a really well put together melodic solo. It's in standard tuning, but these days, if you watch some of the more recent live videos of the band, they tune down like a whole step now. But if you're playing along with the record, keep it in standard tuning. Now, the first thing that you're going to hear is a slide down the low E string from the 12th fret. This is something he'll do a couple of times throughout this solo. Be sure not to stop on any particular fret. Just kind of slide down and let the pressure off of your finger as you go. Then open up that low E string. Next thing we're going to do here is a 12th position unison bend. I'm grabbing the 12th fret here on the high E string and the 15th fret on the B string. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to strike both of those notes with my pick and then bend the B string only up a whole step. And give it some vibrato too. If you just bend them up till they're in unison, it's kind of boring, So be sure that as you bend it up, you let that bend down and continually push it back up and down again to get that screeching pterodactyl vibrato sound that we all love. After that, you're going to hit 2 open low E's. And then you're going to do that same 12th position unison bend again on that 12th E and 15th B. And he does it a little different this time. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to hit the 12 on the E, the 15 on the B together, bend the B up a whole step. And once they're in unison, what you're going to do is to let the B string down and hit just the neutral 15th fret B. So in other words, I didn't go and hit them both or continue to hold this note down. I let go of that highest note and just play the 15 on the B. On the record, this is like barely audible. He definitely does it live. Honestly, on the record, it almost sounds like he just does the 15th fret B with a step bend like that. But if you listen really close, you might be able to hear a little bit of that unison bend. So, I don't know, do whichever one you want. Live, he does the unison bend. On the record, it's kind of up for debate. After this, we get this lick. Good old E minor pentatonic stuff right here. We're going to play the 12 on the B. You're going to do a hammer on and pull off to 15. After this, grab your G14 and give it a whole step bend. 12th B, 12th that E. So now you got... Then you're going to play the 15 on the B, 12 B. And then on the G, you're going to play 14, 12, 14, 12. So that lick is... It's easy to rush this lick. You know, at this tempo, it's easy to kind of push ahead with that one, but keep in mind, stay in the pocket with that. So now so far in the solo, you should have... After this, you're going to hit another open low E string, and then play this lick. Now that was me playing the 7 here on the A, the 5 on the D, the 7 on the D with a whole step bend. Notice that I didn't let the bend down like that. It's just up, choke it with the pick. See how I jammed the pick up against the string? Then play the neutral 7. That's the cool thing about jamming the pick against the string like that is you can let the bend down silently. See, it's like as soon as you touch the string with the pick, you can let it down and it doesn't make any noise. And then you gotta play the 5 on the D. And then you gotta play that 7 on the D sliding to 9. And then you play this. That's just the 7 on the D, hammering to 9, pulling back to 7. Next what you're gonna do is to play this line on the G string. This is just me playing the 5th fret, 4th fret, and 2nd fret. Then you're going to mirror that an octave up, but on the B string. Okay, so we're going to play 13, 12, 10. Next you're going to play this. This is my 10 on the B, hammer on, pull off to 12. So I hammer on 12, pull off back to 10. And then play the 12 on the G. Then you play this. Kind of a cool, vaguely country-ish, vaguely, pedal steel sound of lick. What we're going to do is we're going to have our little finger here barred on the 15 on the B and E strings. So the top 2 strings are in 15 with your little finger. You could use your ring finger too, but I use my little. And what you're going to do here is to play the G on 14 first. You're going to give it a whole step bend and hold it up there. And then you're going to play that 15th E string, 15th B string. So that's... Again, that forms a G triad. If I can get it in tune there. Which is the chord he's playing over. Again, good note targeting stuff. So after you do that, what you're going to do is to pick your already held bend again. Let it down. Pull off to 12. That's tricky for a lot of people. Again, I'm holding the bend up. Pick it and let it down. And then pull it off to 12. 14th D. 12th G. I'll do that one more time so you can really hear the timing there. Then you got this sliding line on the G. Now what I'm doing here is I'm starting off on the 12 on the G, and I'm going to hit that 3 times, and then slide to 11. Next you're going to hit the 11 3 times and slide to 9. Going to hit the 9 3 times and slide to 7. So now you have this. And this last part goes. So that was me hitting the 7th fret G 3 times, hammer to 9, Play 7 again. Then we have this lick. Now this lick, I see some people put an open D string in there somewhere, or something like that in there. I don't hear that. I never hear it live. I don't hear it on the record or anything like that. So I don't know. Maybe there's some bad tab or something floating around for that years ago and that kind of spread. But I don't hear the open D. So after we do the sliding G thing, here's the lick. So this is me hitting the D on 7, hammering to 9. Or sorry, I hit it, and then I hit it again, then hammer to 9. Sorry, so 2 of those 7s, hammer to 9. 7 on the G, back to that 9th D. Then you're gonna play the 9 on the G string and give it a whole step bend. And we're gonna do this two times in a row, yeah. The second time you be sure to make it audible that you're letting it down. So the first time you just go up, jam the pick against it, let the bend down, do the bend again, then be sure to make it audible that you're coming down with it. We'll do that again. Then play the 7 on the G. So you got... After you do that note, he's going to go back and kind of jump up the neck and play another one of those 12th fret low E string slides down the neck. Doesn't really have to be 12. It can be just kind of anywhere high up. The important thing is you hear that movement, you know. So now you have the first half of the solo knocked out. So let's play it again here from the top. Now, the next half of the solo repeats a lot of those same themes and motifs that he developed in the first half. Again, that's a well-constructed solo, you know? He really takes his time putting this thing together and reminds you of some of the stuff that he played earlier on in the solo, which I think is always a great idea when you're trying to build up a catchy and memorable guitar solo. Okay, for the second half, after you do that 12th fret low E string slide down, you're going to start off with another low E, and then those same unison bends here, 12th fret E string, 15th fret B, 2 open low E's, and then your unison bend here up and down, just like before. This time you can really definitely hear the unison thing. Like I said, the first one might just be something like that, but this time it's definitely... So again, that's me hitting 12 on the E, 15 on the B string, bending it up a whole step, coming down with just the B on 15. Do that same pentatonic lick. It's note for note exactly like before. And then after this, what you're going to do, you're going to do another one of those open low E's. Same unison bend again. So that's again 12 on the E, 15 on the B. And then he does this. Now this is me jumping up here to the 17 on the high E string. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give that a little bit of a rake into the note. And, you know, the way I'm doing that is to kind of palm mute the strings above it. So I'm kind of palm muting the D, G, and B. So when I hit them, you don't really get notes. You just kind of get noise. It's a nice wind up to that high E string note. Now what you're going to do is hit that high E string 17 and bend it up a whole step. Now what we're going to do is to bend it up and then slowly let it down. After you let it down, pull off to 15. Then play the 17 again with the whole step bend. So that's a slow, well, it's a fast bend up, a slow let down, and then a pull off. Then the fast bend straight up. Then he plays this. Now this is me hitting that 17 on the high E string again here, quickly pushing it up a step, letting it down a step, pulling off to 15, and then hitting the 17 again. So that lick only involves 2 frets, but there's kind of a lot going on with it, so be sure you pay close attention to the phrasing. Kind of slides off it at the end there. Now, before he plays this next lick, you hear this. Just these two choked notes on the B string. He's just doing like a downstroke and an upstroke on the B, just muted. You know, just kind of muted with the left hand here. It's almost like he's starting to like wind up his alternate picking for this next lick. So before you get into this, after you do the, be sure to add those in if you want to be real accurate about it. Now this lick right here is using that same 13, 12, 10, you know, CBA line that he did earlier. And that was 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times in a row before he plays this. So again, that's just me playing 13, 12, 10, 4 times in a row. And then you gotta play the 10 again, hammer on to 12, pull off to 10, and then play the 12 on the G. Then do that same kind of country lick as before. Again, exactly like you did the first time there with the bar on the 15, the bending of the G on 14. Then you're going to do the same sliding lick on the G. Exactly the same as before you do the outro licks here. So let's break these licks down one by one. Here's the first one. Now I'm playing the 5 on the A, the 7 on the A with a whole step bend, and I'm going to bend it up and then let it come back to position. And then play the 5 again. Here's the next one. Now to play that, I'm starting here on the 7 on the A, then I'm sliding to 9. Then I'm going to play the 7 on the D, hammering to 9. Then I'm going to play the 7 on the G. Notice that is 3 times. Before you play this. So this is the 9 on the G sliding to 11. 10th on the B. 10th on the high E. Then you gotta play the 13 on the B here with a full step bend. And some juicy vibrato, man. He's got a great shake on those strings. And then the very last thing you're going to do is to grab this 20th fret on the high E string. And you're going to slowly bend it up a whole step to the note D. That's a C note, and you want to slowly bend it up to a whole step to the note D. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times that he picks it on the way up. And really what you're aiming for is that 6th pick stroke should be the one that's on pitch. If you reach the D note, you know, before that 6th pick stroke, it just kind of sounds like you're hitting the same note over and over. But it sounds really like epic and climactic if you're bending it up slowly and that last note that you pick ends up on pitch. And give it some big ol' vibrato on there. So again, the last licks here are... and that wraps it up. So the entire second half of the solo, you know, should sound something like this. So there you go, guys, one of the most classic melodic solos in rock guitar history. Again, I really dig this one. Shows you don't have to be super flashy in order to put together a super memorable and great guitar solo. This is a great one to help you out with all your bends and all your note targeting ideas, as well as building ideas and motifs through a solo. Again, look at how much stuff he repeats in this thing. You know, a lot of guys feel like they just need to play this lick and then this other lick I've been working on, then this other one. But it kind of goes to show you that a little repetition goes a long way whenever you're trying to craft a legendary guitar solo of your own. So be sure to pay close attention to the way that he put this thing together. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys can keep up with me on Instagram at Ben Eller Guitars or over on Facebook at facebook.com/Uncle Ben Eller. If you'd like to book some one-on-one Skype lessons with me, be sure to drop me an email, benellerguitars@gmail.com. I'll get back to you as fast as I can. And now get off this dang computer and go practice. Less clicking, more picking.